Oh, we're back. It's another new year. Welcome to another episode of the Interesting Times podcast with your boy Bek Lover. We're back in the studio. Make sure you hit that subscribe button. If you want a show that gets down to the nitty gritty, all the headlines, all the gossip, all the rumors, everything that could be going on in the crazy world we live in, then you're at the right place. Top 5% on Spotify, top 2% in the world, and we grow every day because of people like you, and I really appreciate it. I want to apologize to all of you, my loyal listeners. I took some time off, and then I took some more time off, and there's a little bit more to the reason why I took time off, and I'm going to get to that in a moment. We're going to cover everything from what happened in Vegas to New Orleans to these bird sicknesses that are spreading to what may be happening in the next few days, to the rally that Trump's going to have on the 19th, and to all the pandemonium that I believe is on our shores. I hope you had an amazing new year with your family. I hope you've made intention for 2025. We're already 5 days into this year. Time goes by very quickly. I started December by taking a trip down to the Caribbean, and then I decided last minute to take my family, my boys, and head down to the Miami area to spend some quality time with them. It wasn't planned, but I'm very spontaneous for those people that know me. And I don't regret it. I needed to spend some time with my boys, and it was really good. And I was a little detached, and yeah, I paid attention to what was going on. And I only uploaded one episode when I was down there, so I apologize. I love you guys and girls, so please forgive me. I needed the R&R, and I feel great, and I'm back. I did have a little bit of a bug down there for the first 4 days. Everyone in my circle seems to have some type of respiratory illness that they're having a very hard time getting rid of. I don't know if any of you are suffering from any type of respiratory infection. Please drop a comment. I had it. I came back home. Seems like it came back a little bit. I jumped on an antibiotic. I feel a lot better. I don't know. I don't know what's going on, but we can see what's going on online. In any event, here we go. The soldier that shot himself in the head miraculously, from what I understand, with a Desert Eagle, very powerful weapon. Cybertruck exploded outside of Trump's Las Vegas hotel. I'm going to read this article by the AP, and we're going to get into this, and we're going to mention the Sean Ryan podcast, which if you haven't seen, I highly recommend you watch it. The highly decorated Army soldier inside a Tesla Cybertruck packed with fireworks that exploded outside Trump's International Hotel in Las Vegas shot himself in the head just before detonation. The explosion caused minor injuries to 7 people, but virtually no damage to the hotel. Clark County Sheriff Kevin McMahill said Matthew Livesberger, a 37-year-old Green Beret, likely planned the more damaging attack, but the steel-sided vehicle absorbed much of the force from the crudely built explosive. Damage from the blast was mostly limited to the interior of the truck because the explosion vented out and up and didn't hit the Trump hotel doors just a few feet away. The level of sophistication is not what we would expect from an individual with this type of military experience. Yeah, I would have to say, think about that. This guy's a Green Beret, like Rambo, the movie. I think if he really wanted to create some serious damage, he would have. So I don't know. There's been so many theories flying around. How did his identification survive when the body was burned beyond belief? The guns melted. I have to agree. Sounds like the same crock of shit we were fed on September when those buildings were knocked down in New York and passports miraculously, survived. People are making memes and videos showing passports. Literally, passports should be the new fireproof material that firefighters should wear. I mean, it is very comical. What do you think? Does it make sense that identification survived? I don't think so. And I really don't think we have the truth of what happened and why it happened. And a lot of people are saying this was a psyop. And Sean Ryan, who's been entangled in this now, very prominent podcasters, had people like Trump on his show. I'm going to cover some of that. I'm going to pull up his X. We're going to go over some of those comments. He's supposed to be hosting a live X audio space where you can listen to people live. I host a lot of audio spaces on X also. Haven't been as active the last few weeks, but I'm going to be back on there. It's not lost on us that it's in front of the Trump building. That is a Tesla vehicle, but we don't have information at this point that definitely tells us or suggests it was because of this particular ideology, right? Livelsberger had recently returned from an overseas assignment in Germany and was on approved leave when he died. A law enforcement official said investigators learned through interviews that he may have gotten into a fight with his wife about relationship issues shortly before he rented the Tesla and bought the guns. This article is in the Associated Press. The officials spoke on the condition of anonymity because they were not authorized to discuss the ongoing investigation. Among the charred items found inside the truck were a handgun, another firearm, a number of fireworks, a passport that miraculously survived, a military ID, credit cards, an iPhone, and a smartwatch. Authorities said both guns were purchased legally. Investigators identified the vehicle's driver, who was burned beyond recognition, as Livelsberger of Colorado Springs on Thursday. The cause of death was suicide by gunshot. So the car was programmed to roll up there, supposedly self-driving. He served in the Green Beret, highly trained special forces who work to counter terrorism abroad and train partners. He had served in the Army since 2006, rising through the ranks with a long career of overseas assignments, deploying twice to Afghanistan and serving in Ukraine, Tajikistan, Georgia, and Congo, the Army said. He was awarded a total of 5 Bronze Stars, including one with a Valor device for courage under fire, a combat infantry badge, and an Army Commendation Medal with Valor. McMahill said Livelsberger rented the Tesla electric vehicle in Denver on Saturday, and the sheriff displayed a map showing that it was charged in the Colorado town of Monument near Colorado Springs on Monday. On New Year's Eve, it was charged in the Trinidad, Colorado, and 3 towns in New Mexico along the Interstate 40 corridor. Then on Wednesday, the day of the explosion, it was charged in 3 Arizona towns before the video showed it on the Las Vegas Strip about 7:30 a.m. McMahill said investigators obtained charging station photos showing Livelsberger was the individual that was driving this vehicle and was alone. We're not aware of any other subjects involved in this particular case. Authorities searched a townhouse in Colorado Springs, Colorado on Thursday as part of the investigation. Neighbors said the man who lived there had a wife and a baby and did not give any sign of posing a danger to anyone. Cindy Helwig, who lives diagonally across a narrow street separating the homes, said she last saw the man she knew as Matthew about 2 weeks ago when he had asked her if she had a tool he needed to fix the SUV he was working on. He was a normal guy, she said, who said she last saw his wife and baby earlier this week. Helwig noted the people in the townhome on a hill with views of the mountains don't interact much except for when they're getting the mail or walking their dogs. The explosion of the truck, packed with firework mortars and camp fuel canisters, came hours after 42-year-old Shamsuddin Bahar Jabbar rammed the truck into a crowd in New Orleans, famed French Quarter, early on New Year's Day, killing at least 14 people before shot to death by police. That crash was being investigated as a terrorist attack. The FBI said Thursday that they believe Jabbar acted alone, reversing its position from a day earlier that he likely worked with others. Before Livelsberger and Jabbar spent time at the base formerly known as Fort Bragg, another very interesting fact, both from Fort Bragg, a massive Army base in North Carolina that is home to multiple Army Special Operations units. However, one of the officials who spoke to the AP said there is no overlap in their assignments at the base, now called Fort Liberty. Chris Raia, FBI Deputy Assistant Director, said Thursday that the officials have found no definitive link between the New Orleans attack and the truck explosion in Vegas. Tesla CEO Elon Musk said Wednesday afternoon on X that we have now confirmed that the explosion was caused by very large fireworks and or a bomb carried in the bed of the rented Cybertruck and is unrelated to the vehicle itself. Musk has recently become a member of President-elect Donald Trump's inner circle. Neither Trump nor Musk was in Las Vegas earlier Wednesday. Musk spent an estimated $250 million during the presidential campaign to support the former president. He was at Trump's resort on election night and has been a frequent guest there. Trump has named Musk the world's richest man to co-lead a new effort to find ways to cut government size and spending. I have stayed at this Trump Tower. It is a hotel, and it also has a timeshare portion, which is owned by the Marriott Vacation Club, of which I have sold many shares of that building. So not only have I sold people ownerships, hello if you're watching, my former clients, I've sold people timeshare memberships in that building. I'm very familiar with it. I've also stayed there. The units are very beautiful. It's not too far from the Wynn, very close to Spearmint Rhino on that side of the strip. And you can see the gold Trump name. It's a pretty decently sized building. I find it very, interesting that it was a Tesla truck in front of a Trump building. I don't find it to be coincidental. And the conspiracy windmills are running, and we've heard all different types of theories of what really is happening and what has happened, but nothing takes the cake more than Sean Ryan. Sean Ryan is a very famous podcaster. He's in the top 0.1% of all podcasts in the world. He decided to take a very interesting undertaking with this whole situation, having a guest on named Shoemate. And if you have not seen that podcast, I highly recommend it. There's some very, very interesting and very frightening theories that were passed on this show. Sean Ryan posted on his X, if we pull that up before I get into this article, he wrote here, what did he write here a couple of days ago? Let's get down to this. He wrote, I'm going into hiding. Let's see what he wrote here. Let's see. I remember seeing this on his timeline here. What did he write here? Let's do a little recap. Okay, so on January 3rd, 2 days ago, right? Today's the 5th. Sean Ryan wrote on his X account, my family and I are disappearing for a few days. My account will be active, but it will not be me behind the wheel. What we are about to release is mind-boggling, and it will raise a lot of questions. Okay? Then he releases this episode with Sam Shoemate. We'll play a couple of sound clips here. Okay?
Took a major interest in this as well. And, one of the things that he said, I'll wait till later to bring that up, but I don't know. I don't trust any of these people. I mean, public affairs officers are there to...
I'll keep my mouth.
Yeah, create...
Yeah.
Create...
PAO is there to protect the command.
Yeah.
100%, nothing else.
Yeah.
They're not there to shed transparency on anything. They are there to protect the command.
Let's recreate what the story is. But
so I'm not going to play this here. Please go watch this. I'd love to get your feedback on it, your thoughts. If we look at the comments, people right here, it's an honor being on the watch list with all of you. Let's start by saying these two men don't appear to be unstable or willing to unalive themselves. I'm a cop in Capital City, and I got to tell you, we've had some weird things going on the past few days. All I can say to people is to keep situational awareness. Take the freaking AirPods out and put your phone down. Be aware of the people around you and how they are acting. Be aware of things that seem out of place or odd, and don't be afraid to report them. And know you're not being paranoid or wasting police time. Your gut knows when something just seems off. I can't tell you how many times it's made a huge difference in my career. Be safe, and thanks for what you are doing. Just open to see 7.5 thousand likes and replies. Very unexpected. Couple quick comment replies. Yes, I'm a bit vague on details and not giving my city department. Given the context of the video, nationwide attention, I'd rather not be renting a Tesla anytime soon. I'm on a cop salary and have a family. I can't even afford a VPN. For those asking what I mean by weird, as a cop, you get good at watching, learning people and life in your city. You get a baseline for what you expect people to be lying, honest, angry, sad, nervous, etc. Where do people go to sulk or to hook up? How do they act when they don't know, think they're being watched? You know how vehicles operate when they see you versus when they don't. You see the patterns over time, but that varies for each place. You need to learn what's normal versus weird, your environment and your people. Cell phones easily allow almost anyone to be invisible now. For example, I may notice an increase in and out of state license plates from a state, or someone will be somewhere I've never seen them before, where they shouldn't be. Someone could give you a pretty normal story on the outside, or a vehicle could appear regular, but all things added together doesn't fit the pattern you're used to for both normal and weird. Basically, this cop is telling us to be on full alert, pay attention to everything. And I agree, too many people are just, their heads are buried in their phones. They're outside, but their brain is on their, like, they're not paying attention. Today, I was actually stopped in traffic in Manhattan and just noticing everyone crossing the street. I swear to God, they can't even put their phone down to cross the street. It's crazy to me. Like, it's dangerous to do that even if we're not in a state of chaos. The fact that our own military personnel have to come out and inform the people of what our own government is doing is such a loud message at how corrupt. These are all the messages. I highly recommend you go and check it out. Okay, he's already had almost 4 million views in 2 days. Now, this article about Sean Ryan, okay, is the media and what they're trying to spin him into. Who is Sean Ryan married to? Former U.S. Navy SEAL goes into hiding. Podcaster Sean Ryan recently took to X and shared a tweet amid the allegations against alleged Cybertruck bomber Matthew Livesberger. In the tweet dated Friday, January 3rd, Ryan, who is a former Navy SEAL, revealed that he would disappear with his family for a few days. Okay. Sean Ryan's family includes his wife, Katie Jean Williams. According to Kate's LinkedIn profile, she received her bachelor's degree in public relations, advertising, and applied communication in 2009. The profile further stated that since last February, Katie has been working as an affiliate broker for Tyler York Real Estate Brokers in Tennessee. Minutes after Sean posted this tweet, an episode was shared on Spotify. He even shared another post on X, formerly known as Twitter, where he claimed that Matthew Livesberger had sent an email to him as well as Sam Shoemate. According to the second tweet, the Cybertruck bomber suspect sent the manifesto through the email in the tweet Ryan wrote. Amid updates about Sean Ryan and his revelations about apparent emails, it would be worth knowing more about the podcaster Ryan, who founded the Vigilance Elite, was a part of the U.S. Navy SEALs, and a CIA contractor with 14 years of experience mastering multiple combat operations. According to the official website of Vigilance Elite, Ryan's podcast, The Sean Ryan Show, has been a significant step in encouraging veterans who want to transfer into entrepreneurship. Okay, according to the NavySEAL.com, Sean was interested in serving since he was only a child growing up in Pennsylvania. This motivated him to join the Navy, after which he became a Navy SEAL as well. Okay, this guy's no joke. That was when he got involved in the field of entrepreneurship and multiple ventures. A huge range of conversations usually happen on Sean's podcast, ranging from bringing in fellow special ops vets to carrying out mental health discussions. He had openly spoken about experiencing PTSD, finding purpose after service, and the mental and emotional challenges many veterans go through. Apart from having his podcast, Sean is also the brand ambassador for Layered Superfood. It could be concluded that Sean's journey from a soldier to an entrepreneur had been quite encouraging. Now, if we look back at his X account, he posted this, then he posted the email, okay, where basically, okay, this guy who did the Tesla thing in Vegas basically said China has been launching them from Atlantic, from submarines for years. Okay, they're talking about gravity, propulsion systems, correlating it to the drones. We might have already been infiltrated. We might be being held hostage, our skies. There's no way to stop this drone technology. Doesn't matter how powerful our fighter jets are. And that our enemies, basically the only one that has this type of technology besides the U.S. is China, and they could be, basically holding our country hostage or trying to take out Donald J. Trump, which both scenarios are absolutely horrible and would lead to World War III and massive chaos. I can't confirm if this is true. This is what the net's saying. This is what Sean Ryan's saying. This is the email that they've released. It's on his X account. I highly recommend you go watch the episode, check out the email, and drop your comments. A lot of people are claiming this is all a massive psyop and Sean Ryan got played. I've heard this from people like Nino Rodriguez, who I've been on his show many times. So there's a lot going on. There's a lot going on. One thing for certain is I was right. It's not aliens, right? All those drones we saw all over the Northeast. When a lot of you wondered why I took a little bit of a break, I went to Florida on purpose. It wasn't just for leisure. I wanted to get my children out of the New York City area. If there was any truth to any of those rumors of radioactive material, I wasn't taking a chance. I had the means and the time to get my kids out just to kind of, just see what was going to happen. So it wasn't like I was terrified, but I was just being overly cautious. I think too many people are not cautious enough. They're too heedless. Human beings are dumber than animals in most cases. Animals, they see fire, they run away from danger. Human beings like, oh, Billy, there's an explosion. Let's go check it out real close. Like, it's crazy. When you think about the intelligence we should have as humans, And a lot of times we're dumber than animals. We really are. So there's a lot of activity going on with this whole Sean Ryan thing. A lot of posts. You know, he has it all here on his X account. I highly recommend you go and review all this stuff. This is the UN report citing the 2019 airstrikes in Afghanistan. This is from the DEA agent who attempted to contact me via LinkedIn. Right? I've been followed for over a week now from Homeland or FBI, and they are looking to move on me and are unlikely to going to let me cross into Mexico. I have knowledge of this program and also crimes that were covered up during certain conflicts overseas. I mean, this is the type of stuff that is being posted by an account that's very well respected in the podcast world, okay? And he has millions of followers. So let's look at some of the comments here. Let's click on this video. Let's see what people are saying. The problem with this email is he's saying the drones are China. There's zero chance the USA is allowing China drones over military bases in NJ, and drones have been seen in the Midwest. How would drones get to Kansas and other places? All this is to set up Trump for war crime allegations. Sad. Did you know, or are you being played? Also, when are you going to call out Tim Kennedy for his BS, and how did he have a direct line to PA? Why wouldn't he reach out to James O'Keefe? And oh my God, I'm sure they routinely check their emails. Jack Poso is pushing back way too hard on this intel you've released. I can't help but feel like you're trying to capitalize on this and market yourself. Maybe I'm wrong and your intentions are all good, but just have a disconcerting feeling. This was all well orchestrated by the intelligence community. Do not fall for this nonsense, and certainly do not waste your time. This suspect coincidentally happened to be in a History Channel show, just like Trump's shooter was in Black Rock. This is a psyop. This is what people are writing, man. The bottom line is we are in a time of mass deception. There's a time of a lot of noise. Nobody knows what the hell's really going on. All I know is we really can't trust anything or anyone, even when people have good intentions. There's so much misinformation. These people play 5D chess. It's very easy to get sucked in. We're all hoping for some type of superhero to come save us. I really don't think there is. I think the only people that can save America are people like you and me, everyday Americans that are vigilant, that realize the game that's being played on a global level, that this is bigger than the U.S. itself. The whole world is at play, and humanity is in extreme danger. And really, we need to get close to God, put on the armor of God, as the Christian would say, and get close to God. Have a plan. Talk to your family. There's multiple dangers brewing in the background, from the bird sickness that's spreading to the norovirus to alleged terrorism to civil war that could erupt and white supremacy and all these different agendas that they are what I call color revolutions that are being planted in the background that can be convenient. What I don't find to be smart, in my opinion, is I think that Trump is doing a rally one day, before he's supposed to be inaugurated. I don't find it to be a smart move on his part. DC road closures ahead of January 6th and Carter funeral. The nation's capital is ramping up security measures ahead of the certification, which is tomorrow. The following roads will be closed, on January 6th. And I know he's supposed to have a rally on I think the 2019, on the 19th, if I'm not mistaken. So let's see this. Trump to hold victory rally before Inauguration Day. The rally was announced for January 19th, the day before the inauguration. I think it's a stupid part. I really do, Trump. I think you should call it off. Why have any supporters or anyone there one day before your inauguration? Why give them a chance to sow some type of chaos or some type of false flag? Like, just get into office, dude. Seriously, we don't need to take extra risks here, in my opinion. But I would be very worried about that day of something happening. I really would. Something that can derail everything. I don't think it's a smart move on his behalf or his administration. I think you stay quiet, get in office, do what you got to do. Now, they held a funeral in Baton Rouge for one of the victims of that guy, and it happened to be a Muslim. And I'll say this again. More Muslims have died from terrorists than any other faith. They do not represent the religion of Islam. I find the whole situation in New Orleans is too fishy. The guy's riding around with an ISIS flag in the South. okay, those rednecks, and I'm just saying that as a joke because I was actually born in the South, they would have seen that ISIS flag in 2 seconds. They would have rammed him off the road. They would have shot his tires out. Okay, and there's just too many things that just don't make sense about that event, how none of the regular security measures were in place. Okay, and this guy was a veteran also and served at the same place as the guy in New Orleans, and it's just it's just fishy, man. Here's some video footage of them burying this young boy, only 18 years old, man. It's just horrible. So I just want you to remember that, you know, regardless of faith, race, creed, these horrific acts that happen claim the lives of all people. So Muslim, Christian, Jew, terrorism doesn't discriminate. Innocent life is lost. And Muslims shouldn't always have to justify their faith. I've said this many times on my show. Taking innocent life is strictly forbidden in Islam, period. The Quran strictly mentions non-combatants. These people were innocent civilians walking down the road. Okay? This guy was no Muslim. Okay? What he did, he killed another Muslim, which is guaranteed hellfire, period. Let alone killing innocent people. Guaranteed to burn in hell. He's no martyr. He's no superhero in Islam. And most Muslims look at people like this and they're angry because this family's a double victim. Not only did they lose their son, but now they have to justify and defend their faith by a man who's trying to use the faith for their own means. It doesn't make any sense. New Orleans assailant said in videos to his family that he considered killing them before conducting the attack. Okay? Because that's Islam. Islam teaches you to kill your family and then go kill innocent people. No, it doesn't. So I love some of the comments some of these people leave on my wall, these trolls, as I try to build these bridges between different communities. There's a difference between debating what I believe and respecting. I respect Christianity. I may not agree, you know, with its beliefs as far as who Jesus was, but that's about the only difference that we have. But there's denominations of Christianity that don't agree. He was the Son. He was God. You know, Jehovah's Witnesses. There's differences in every faith. Islam has Sunni, Shia, Sufi, right? So, like, these differences exist within faiths, let alone between different faiths, right? I don't hate anybody. I don't care if you're Hindu, Buddhist. I may not agree with your faith at all, but that doesn't mean I don't respect your choice to follow it. And that's all I ask for in return also. Period. It's really not that hard. It's not a complicated principle to understand. You know, I have the right to have a different opinion. I choose to believe what I believe. No one taught me my faith. I don't follow my father's faith blindly at all, actually. My family was against me in the beginning when I became very spiritual. So it's like, you know, I dealt with ridicule when I started practicing my faith and, you know, being made fun of by cousins and uncles and aunts. And, you know, it is what it is. I chose my path. So I do take it personal, but I don't get mad at people. It's like, just be respectful. You can disagree and be respectful in the way you disagree. Insulting people doesn't make them want to be a Muslim, a Christian, a Jew, or anything. If anything, it pushes people away from God. There's a way to debate and have these conversations and be respectful. I'm going to be addressing Wes Huff in a very respectful fashion. I have nothing against him. I just don't agree with some of his statements as he's made, especially about Islam. He's dead wrong about a lot of them. So Sam Shuman, but Sam Shuman has no respect. He will debate about Islam and say the most wicked things about someone that people look up to, 2 billion people look up to. I mean, that's how you're going to make people want to believe what you believe. No, you're insulting them. You know, saying you don't believe Jesus is God doesn't mean you're insulting anyone. It says, hey, I just don't believe that principle. But there's a difference between doing that and then calling someone dirty names and disgusting names and, hey, they're burning in hell, and very disrespectful in my opinion. So when I address Wes Huff, who, by the way, says he won't debate anybody, so the guy who became famous because someone way more famous than him decided to give him a chance to debate, he won't give the same chance to someone else because that's fair. But I'm going to address a lot of what he has to say, and I'm going to do it in a very respectful fashion. I was on Divik's podcast today. For those of you that know the George Jenko show, he's the manager of George Jenko and friend, and he's a born-again Christian. And we had a very respectful conversation. He's releasing the episode on Thursday. I'm the first guest on his show. We had a beautiful conversation, interfaith. We covered a lot of different topics, and I think you're going to enjoy that one. So make sure you check it out. It's releasing on Thursday. Back to the story in New Orleans. This is reported by NBC because I trust them so much. A U.S. Army veteran from Texas who drove to Louisiana and deliberately plowed into New Year's revelers in New Orleans recorded videos during the drive addressed to his family in which he talked about plans to kill them before conducting the attack. I wanted to record this message for my family. I wanted you to know that I joined ISIS. He then said, I don't want you to think I spared you willingly, etc., etc. First of all, what doesn't add up about this story? I thought Donald Trump defeated ISIS. I thought we went to war with Al-Qaeda, but the West propped up this new leader that just took over Syria who was formerly Al-Qaeda. Nothing makes sense. Everything is a lie. I don't trust anything they say anymore at all when it comes to ISIS, Al-Qaeda, the Middle East, and why they're invading countries. They've lied about all of it for the last 25 years. That's the only fact. That is the only fact. So why would I trust them about anything anymore? There's nothing to trust anymore. Okay? Now, what might be coming? Presumptive bird flu detected in Delaware. Poultry flock sparks heightened vigilance in Maryland. Okay? They're pushing this thing hard here now. How America lost control of the bird flu and raised the risk of another shutdown. This is reported by PBS. Okay, they've been brewing this thing for about a year now. Now you have the norovirus cases on the rise in Austin. Okay, everything is set, charged, and primed to create chaos if he gets into office and right after he gets into office. If I was a betting man, I would bet major turmoil in the markets, an extreme collapse of the stock market, real estate prices are going to come crashing down. Crypto will crash, except for the coin that they're going to prop up to regulate the government, in my opinion. I am not God. These are my predictions. Hospitals in China overwhelmed by the surge in HMPV, patients raising concerns about a new epidemic. Neighboring countries such as Cambodia, Taiwan, and Hong Kong are closely monitoring the situation. And it's funny, like the same play, the same location first. When we know what happened the last time, and the manipulation, and the lies, and the covering up of what happened to all of us. And it's following the same game plan. They didn't even choose a different country to start it. Like, it's just crazy, man. Okay? So build your ark, folks. We're running out of time. Have a plan if they try to shut everything down. Because this time around, there will be no travel anywhere. Checkpoints, in my opinion. It'll be hard to access, hard to communicate. Okay? It'll be a very scary time if this happens. Now, I know a lot of you think drinking's a good thing, but today in CNBC, there is no safe level of alcohol to drink, doctor says, not even one glass of red wine per day. Having a glass of wine a day has often been touted as a healthy choice for your heart. While there are warnings against using other substances like cigarettes, alcohol in moderation is typically considered fine. The U.S. Dietary Guidelines for Americans encourages people to avoid large amounts of alcohol and suggests sticking to 2 or fewer drinks daily for men. Yet the U.S. Surgeon General, Vivek Murthy's newest advisory suggests that even a small amount of alcohol could be harmful and may increase your risk of developing cancer. Alcohol is a well-established preventable cause of cancer, responsible for about 100,000 cases of cancer and 20,000 cancer deaths annually in the U.S., greater than 13,500 alcohol-associated traffic crash fatalities per year. Yet the majority of Americans are unaware of the risk. We now know that there is no safe level for alcohol consumption and that alcohol is a known carcinogen. I guess the Muslims got it right. You shouldn't be drinking. Okay, there's no safe level of alcohol. U.S. Surgeon General says any amount of alcohol can cause cancer. I guess the Muslims got it right. You should give up alcohol, non-Muslims, and the Muslims that are still drinking. Haram! The congestion pricing went into effect in New York City, the first city in the world to charge people to drive from one part of the same city, a crime against every New Yorker, to cover up the billions of dollars they lost that they can't make up or recoup. So they're going to punish New Yorkers and create 2 classes, those that can afford to drive and those that can't. They've shut down squares and major arteries in New York City, took out 3 to 4 lanes on major avenues like 8th Avenue for bike lanes and bus lanes and this and that. And between the Ubers and the taxis, they created the congestion. Okay, that's the truth. And there's less traffic than before 2019. Some angry drivers didn't hold back on Sunday with their thoughts on the first active day of congestion pricing, which involved paying a $9 toll to travel in Manhattan. It really pisses me off, John Safir said, who stopped on the Upper East Side to share his grievances with AM New York Metro. It's a scam. I'm not against it for passenger vehicles during rush hour, 7 a.m. to 8 p.m. or something like that, but this is such bullshit. And it is bullshit. What's even crazier is that people were cheering the sign going up,
Are we ready?
This was a sign that they released.
4, 3,
the new pricing, the MTA.
1.
Cheering for a new tax. Cheering for a new toll. Unreal. Like how stupid some people are in New York City. You're cheering the creating of two different classes. Those that can afford to drive to Midtown and those that can't. A Hunger Games society. Absolutely ridiculous. Central American troops have arrived in Haiti to reinforce the mission to restore order. About 150 military police officers from Central America have arrived in Haiti to reinforce the embattled government's fight against violent gangs. The deployment of around 75 security officers, mostly from Guatemala, was greeted Saturday at the international airport by the Kenyan commander. The gangs have only two choices: surrender, lay down their weapons, and face justice, or face us in the field. So things are about to heat up in Haiti. President Biden awarded some of the most amazing human beings the Medal of Freedom. People like Hillary Clinton, people like George Soros, amazing human beings. They deserve the Medal of Freedom. I call it gaslighting, those of us that are aware of what's really been going on in the world. How do you feel about that? Trump stands as a convicted felon. Judge orders January 10th sentencing of Trump in hush money case. So that's in less than 5 days. Okay? But the judge is signaling that there will be no jail time. So maybe that's good news, because I think if they tried to arrest the about to be current president, you'd have some serious fireworks in this nation. The people that lost their lives in New Orleans, these are their pictures. May they rest in peace. It's just so sad for someone who's just walking down the street. Okay, we live in a time where you can't afford to have your ear pods on. You must be vigilant in the streets. There are sick and deranged human beings all around us, emotionally disturbed people. We live in a broken society. You are not safe. Your children are not safe anywhere. You must be vigilant. These poor people lost their lives just walking down the block. May they rest in peace. It's heartbreaking, man. We've all seen the video of that truck. Okay, look at this beautiful young woman, 18 years old, just graduated, man. Lost her life, man. Okay, just for walking down the block, man. There's the guy I was talking about earlier, Kareem Badawai. This poor guy, Hubert, 21 years old. I mean, it's just like the Prophet Muhammad said. There will be a day when those that are killed won't know why they were killed, and those doing the killing won't even know why they're doing the killing. Wait for the hour. We live in a time where you leave your house, you don't even know if you're going to come back home because of sick stuff like this, man. Please be vigilant with your families, your children. TikTok creators left in limbo while awaiting decision on potential platform ban. That's the pressing question, keeping creators and small business owners in anxious limbo. I haven't been investing a lot of time there just in case they pull the rug. I'm still growing on there, which is crazy because of all the content that's gone viral, thanks to all of you. And make sure you smash that sub button. At the heart of the case is whether the law violates the First Amendment, with TikTok and its creators' allies arguing that it does. The U.S. government, which sees the platform as a national security risk, says it does not. For creators, the TikTok doomsday scenarios are nothing new since President-elect Donald Trump first tried to ban the platform through executive order during his first term. But despite Trump's recent statements indicating he now wants TikTok to stick around, the prospect of a ban has never been as immediate as it is now, with the Supreme Court serving as the final arbiter. If the government prevails as it did in the lower court, TikTok says it would shut down its U.S. platform by January 19th. So we'll find out. What do you think? You think TikTok's finished? Moldova breakaway region faces extended blackouts after gas cut. The pro-Russian breakaway Moldovan region of Transnistria. I can never say that word right. I actually was watching that one vlogger that visited the place. Left without Russian gas supplies, no longer transiting through the neighboring Ukraine, faced longer periods of rolling power cuts on Saturday. Flows of Russian gas via Ukraine to Central and Eastern Europe stopped on New Year's Day after a transit deal expired between the warring countries and Kiev refused to extend it. Transdnestria, a mainly Russian-speaking enclave which has lived side by side with Moldova since breaking away from it in the last days of Soviet rule, received gas from Russian giant Gazprom. The gas was used to operate a thermal plant which provided electricity locally and for much of Moldova under the control of the pro-European central government. Very interesting history there if you read about that place. It's basically like a tiny little town that's its own country, basically has its own autonomy. Very interesting. More than 30 dolphins have died since an oil spill in Russia. This is reported by Yahoo News. 32 dolphins have died since the fuel oil spilled out of 2 storm-stricken tankers 3 weeks ago in the Kerch Strait, which separates the Russia-occupied Crimean Peninsula from Russia's southern Krasnodar region. Russia's Delta Dolphin Rescue and Research Center said the deaths are most likely related to the fuel oil spill. So that's a horrible natural disaster. Israel's warning Lebanon that truce could collapse if Hezbollah doesn't withdraw to the south. I think that conflict will spiral out of control again eventually. Israelis should avoid traveling to these countries following a Brazilian court incident. The Brazilian court's decision to investigate a complaint against an Israeli reservist on vacation is a step up in the legal battle waged by pro-Palestinian organizations against Israelis abroad. Travel warnings have been issued. Remember, the International Court of Justice has accused them of committing war crimes, and this is an example of what could happen to them in the future of their lives. I'm going to end this episode with a strange video of a food cart worker, a halal food cart worker, caught catching pigeons. Many were speculating he's using the pigeons in his food cart. Don't tell me, man. So he captures the pigeons, takes them into the cart, and the pigeon never comes back out. I don't eat street meat, man. The Queens food truck worker captured a pigeon using a plastic bag and brought it back to his cart. A commuter waiting for a bus spotted the worker feeding the birds. Oriani Birsek said she saw the man look around to see if anyone was watching and then tried unsuccessfully to grab one of the birds from a flock. A Queens food truck worker caught on social media capturing pigeons by using the plastic bag. The man tried again and managed to grab one, shoving in the plastic bag, returning to the food truck. I can't believe what I just saw. She told the Post, after that I saw him grab water and he was rinsing his hand and swishing water in his mouth. He was sticking his fingers into his mouth and scrubbing his teeth with his fingers. I was shocked at what I was seeing, but I didn't record the rest. The video received over 150,000 likes. I will never eat there again. Honestly, I don't trust these vendors at all. Where are they washing their hands? There's no running water. They're absolutely disgusting. I've had people getting sick from these carts. I don't trust these carts. I don't eat from them. You shouldn't either. That's a reason why. We live in an interesting world. There's all types of things going on. This is your boy, Bek Lover. I hope you enjoyed this episode. We're back, baby. I'm bringing the heat. We'll be back on pretty much every single day. You stay tuned here. You can watch this episode on YouTube, Spotify, Rumble, or you can listen to the audio version anywhere podcasts are received. I'll be here keeping track of what's going on. There might be things you know about that I don't. I appreciate your comments, your messages, and we're going to keep doing what we're doing. We got to save the world, man.